So here we are with Second Front. This is our after-action report.
So we started with the Allies ashore here in Normandy, pretty much these three hexes right here. They managed to go very well the first turn, and they actually took Caen, the Port Blue. They expanded out of there. They had some very good rolls. They were especially helped in that the Germans weren't able to bring in all of the reinforcements they hoped to. The Allied air harassment held them out. The next turn, they were able to grab just about all the Cotentin Peninsula. And I think it was the turn after that they took Cherbourg. Again, the port blew up. But they had pretty much all of the Cotentin, and they were outside of Caen and into Falaise by the end of July, I believe. There was a big German armored counterattack into Falaise that threw the British back and cut down 2 divisions. That slowed them a little bit, but the Americans and the British just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. They couldn't rack up German casualties, but they kept gaining ground and stretching the German line so that the Germans' anti-tank effects, threat of anti-tank effects, just kept getting weaker and weaker. About this time, we're talking early August, the Americans and French land right down here, these 3 hexes in southern France, farther west than the historical spot, but they grabbed a port, but it blew up on them again. So their supplies are running pretty shoestring over here. They spent a turn or 2 to expand the beachhead either direction, and then they were able to loop around. And at the time that the Allies started a breakout in the north, the Germans down here just took off running. So over here, the big thing was this hex right here. The Germans were holding strong here with a big armored attack, or armored force. The British dropped their 1st Airborne Division back here to open up this retreat route, or open up exploitation for the Germans. Dropped the American heavy bombers on this with a massive massive armored attack. So they blew out this hex and forced them down here. They were able to exploit down this road all the way to Le Mans with 1 or 2 divisions in every hex. The Poles got all the way out here. The 52nd Lowlands was flown into the Le Mans airport. The Germans just then used whatever armor was in here to counterattack through this spot again. No, it was right there at Alençon where there was an airfield. They managed to punch through there, got some of the armor out this way. Most of this is the armor that was up in here or through here. So this is a stack, a long line of panzers, more or less acting as a cavalry delaying force. But that's 20 to 24 points in every hex. And then on the last turn, September 2, the Allies that had stuff here and stuff here just mopped up everything that was left in the bocage. There were a lot of casualties among the Germans over there. The Germans are forming a line on the Seine. There's some fortifications in there, but this is all 1 or 2 infantry divisions per hex. It's not a great line, but it's the start of a very good line. The Allies never got a second big port. Yeah, this guy's still holding at Le Mans. So they do not have a supply network, supply infrastructure to get farther off the beach. That'll take them some time. They'll need to take a real port or a real marshalling yard, such as Rouen or Le Havre or even Saint-Malo, and then spend some time building up a rail network. So let's say they're a fair bit behind schedule, but I'd say this is the battle that the Allied planners, historical Allied planners, thought they were going to fight. They didn't figure to be on the Seine until fall. Again, down here they're on a supply shoestring, so they're going to get stopped. They're going to run out of supplies about here. Maybe out here early on, but they got to pump a lot of stuff in there to generate an infrastructure and capture some points. So I'd say the Germans are actually in really good shape strategically. The bad weather is coming probably in 2 turns, and they're going to be holding the Seine. The British and Allies could probably smash into the northern part of the Seine here. Yeah, they could probably cross below Paris, but they're not going much further beyond that until really into November. And there's a lot of intact German panzers. They're not chopped up. I'm not entirely sure why the Germans have so many Panzers. Dice, tactics, a little bit of the game structure. This is definitely running, but yeah, I think the Germans are ahead on points, let's say.
We all had fun?
Absolutely.
Awesome.